We are here with Ben Quist, finalist for the best personal trainer in Ozaukee County. Interestingly, his competitors include a plucky young Jeremiah Krieger, also of Form and Fitness, but win or lose, Dr. Ben is the PT with a vision. In fact, Hollywood is in pre-production of a biopic about Ben, upcoming, hopefully for vision on screen this summer, called Vision Quist.
Oh.
And the role of the young Dr. Ben Quist has been, rumor has it, Brad Pitt has signed on to play Ben Quist. And it's called Vision Quest, the quest for a healthy lifespan on the Silver Spring. And now, here's Dr. Ben.
Hey, what's up, man?
Whoa, I just got to work out doing that intro, baby.
Holy smokes, you weaved a lot of stuff into that intro.
You
Man.
bet.
You got 80s movies in there. You got all kinds of stuff.
Brad Pitt, that's a good one.
That was pretty good.
He's a little old, but they can use makeup, bring him down a little bit.
I'd be okay with him playing me. I'd play him. That'd be nice, actually.
How are you, Ben?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Had a nice week this week, and like you said, I found out I got nominated for best trainer in Ozaukee County, which is hilarious. I really don't do that much training anymore. But
I voted for you. I remember the old. I channeled the old Track Attack days. There was nobody better.
yeah. I voted for Jeremiah, so I'm gonna.
Good. Good. I hope you guys don't cannibalize each other too much, and one of you pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah, it's always fun to see that though when people get in there and vote on those things. So
you bet.
Nice to have that in there.
It is.
And the gym as well, and best gym. So.
Yep. Vote for that as well. I'm all over it, man.
Nice. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's been a good week. How about you? Everything going good in Jackland?
It is. It's an interesting week. You know, last week with New Year's being in the middle of the week, and then the work week started for most people Thursday and Friday, and some people were still off. And then this week was the first full week heading into the week, and a lot of people thought it was going to be a long. It flew by. I can't believe it's Friday already. I don't know about you. How do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. I feel like today flew by, and then also like the whole week. Yeah, I can't believe it's the weekend already. Yeah, I was off for 2 weeks. I took the entire 2 weeks off.
Excellent.
The holidays. So
did you do something fun? Did you bake pies?
Yeah, well, we did some skiing. We did a little. Got to see the Packers get beat by the Vikings at the Viking Stadium, which that kind of sucked. But
yeah,
so
close.
Oh, I know, but I was so glad to see the Vikings get destroyed by Detroit the following weekend. So that was a little bit of a consolation prize. So
yes, those Viking fans are nasty. They
were really mean. They were not nice at all.
The Bears are supposed to be our biggest rivals, but maybe it's because when I grew up, the Vikings were really good. They had Fran Tarkenton. I don't know if you remember that. And those guys, they beat us all the time. So I grew up just absolutely hating the Vikings. The Bears stunk just as much as we did.
Yeah.
You know. So then the Bears got good, but I could handle it for a little while. And then the Packers have been good since. So those damn Vikings, I just can't stand them.
Yeah. No, I kind of feel that way too. I felt like the fans were really hostile to us Packer fans who were in the stands.
Were you with your kids?
No, I was just my wife and then some relatives that were there with us. So. But but it was still a lot of fun. They had a great stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, and they played well. But I don't think they're that good of a team though, because they look what happened to them the next week. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. This is gonna be quite a playoff season. So
it will be. And you're a fan? Will you actually? This is a good question for you. Football games are like 2.5 to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Will you sit still for an entire game on TV?
Yeah, I will. You know, I like to. You know, I'm a purist. I like to sit on the couch with a beer. You know.
Yeah. Whoa. You know, oh man.
Sometimes you gotta do that. You know. So. So.
What beer? What kind of beer? I have to know.
I typically like IPAs, so I like stronger beers. Or my whatever one has the highest alcohol content.
You're blowing me away, man. This is going to have to go in your new biopic.
I have to be fun sometimes. So
yes.
But you're not here to talk to me about my own drinking habits or
no. Just curious. It's playoff season. It's fun time. What do you have on the hopper? What do you want to talk about this week?
I was thinking of talking today. I get asked this question a lot, you know, and I also I intake a lot of people, including today. I had some new customers come in today, and I was talking to them a little bit about what's going on in their lives. And these individuals were probably in their late 60s, and I hear this common thread for everybody in their 60s, 70s. Many times there's some osteoporosis, osteopenia going on. Many times there is balance starting to fail a little bit. Many times they're starting to feel weak, doing just normal things that they don't used to be able to do really easily. And I just hear that same very common thread time and time again. And they're usually asking the question of like, what do I do to stop this? And they have these ideas of, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to exercise every day, or I'm going to have to do super heavy, hard strength training. And I just want to let everybody know that strength training is the most effective thing you possibly can do to stop a lot of that age-related disability that we all experience as we get older. But the cool part about it is, yes, it's absolutely essential. But the cool part is it doesn't take that much time. I feel like most people have this misconception that they need to be doing a workout that's, when I go to the gym or I do this workout in my home gym or I use dumbbells, whatever, it's going to take me an hour or 90 minutes minimally to do this workout. And I got to do it every day, or I got to do it, 5 days a week. And nothing could be further from the truth. Most individuals respond extremely well with strength training in the twice a week type of category. And the time frame can be as little as 20 minutes, so
really
many of the customers, like even these two new ladies that I was talking to today, my recommendation was twice a week for 45 minutes, and we'll be able to make significant change in their strength. We may be able to maintain their bone density or even increase it possibly. We may, be able to get some of that balance back, get their mobility going. And all that can happen in just 2 short sessions a week. And I've seen that time and time again over the decades that I've been doing this. So I just want to throw that out there as my message for this week is strength training is incredibly beneficial and it does not take that much time, and it should.
And Ben, you've talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating, at least how I have heard it, is you don't have to be a weightlifter to start out into strength training. You can be a complete novice. Yeah. And get some good pointers, and you will reap the benefits of it.
One of the coolest things about people who weren't previous athletes or weren't previous strength trainers, many times when I work with individuals that have an extensive athletic history, they have lots of injuries. Like they have a blown out knee, or they're a football player and their back is just been destroyed, So those people sometimes are at a almost disadvantage. They have certain strengths because they're used to it and they know what they're getting themselves into, but sometimes when I get a fresh palate, or they haven't had any,
fresh meat.
They come to me at age 50 and they've never strength trained before, and they weren't really an athlete, and all their joints are feeling great. I mean, they actually kind of have an advantage because, the main thing as you age, the thing that can get in the way of being able to properly strength train is if your joints are all damaged. So many times their joints are doing pretty good for those that weren't strength training, extensively in their youth, or doing really crazy things like some of the sporting things we do in our lives. And they do really, really well and make this great progress, So you totally don't. Sometimes it's an advantage not to have been a weightlifter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's still, you mentioned balance. That's one of the first things to go, right? I mean, isn't it something you lose as you age, right? Balance is something you really have to work on. Is that right, Ben, or is that not right?
Yeah, balance is a weird one because there are so many different things that inform balance that create what we call being stable and being able to balance. And unfortunately, like all of those things decrease as we age. So like your vision is a big part of your balance. Vision gets a little bit worse as they age. Your cutaneous sensation on your feet, that tends to, people get diabetes. Maybe they can't feel their feet quite as well as they used to, or they have nerve damage. And then a big one is as your strength decreases, your balance decreases. So and that's the biggie that I usually can really help people with, is I can get them a whole heck of a lot stronger, and there's various other things that affect balance too. Yep. But yeah, balance is a weird one. But it kind of just goes in concert with all the other things that we lose as we age. If you're not doing anything, it's amazing. Like a average 50-year-old can hold 1 foot off the floor with their eyes open for 20 to 30 seconds, no sweat. You take an average 80-year-old and that goes down to 1 or 2 seconds. It's a massive decrease. But we see those examples of people in their 80s who can, do yoga and do the tree pose and balance and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That is because they have really attempted to push back Father Time by modulating and keeping all the systems working as well as they possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you lose balance at those upper ages, you get hurt because you fall and everything's brittle and more brittle than it used to be anyway. But today,
interesting fall story. So we were in Minneapolis. I was staying at my brother-in-law's house, and he is a kind of a clean freak. So he is a strangely clean man. He stays up at night, late into the night hours, cleaning his home like obsessive compulsively.
Bring him down here for a weekend. I just want to invite him over.
Invite him over. He cleans my house when he stays here too. So we were in his house and we were staying over. And the next morning I had yoga. I booked a class at a local gym there and was leaving in the dark at 5 a.m. in the morning. And apparently there had been some dirt on Dan's driveway, some mud chunks. So he thought this brilliant idea that in the middle of winter he would hose down his driveway with water. In the middle of winter, in the dead of this very cold season there, and get the dirt off his driveway. So he basically created an ice skating rink like directly outside of his door. So I go walking out and I go, whoosh, and I just go boom, and then right on my elbow. And then my daughter was coming behind me because bless her heart, she was going to yoga at 5 a.m. as well. So she runs out, she goes, Dad! She comes running out to try to help me, and she's 14 years old, and she goes whoosh.
Oh,
she falls down on her butt. It was just too funny, but even when you have, I think I have pretty darn good balance. You get in situations in which your balance is challenged too much, but then that bone density type of stuff comes into play. Where I guarantee you, if I had not had strong bones, I would have shattered my arm.
Right.
But I walked out of it with a big bruise, and
Well, that's it. As you're falling, you react naturally. So your elbow takes the brunt of it, and that's there's no way you can avoid that. So the strength training keeps the bones dense.
Or keeps the muscle in place, that if you land on your butt or something and you have muscle tissue there and some fat tissue, it helps out with that cushioning of those types of falls. Because you're exactly right. I think it's like a number 10% of deaths occur because of falls when you're elderly. I think usually you fall, you break something, then you get pneumonia, then you die. It's a very common sequence. So anything we do to avoid that is, of course, really, really good.
So what did you say to your neat freak brother-in-law when you got back? Did you say, what the hell?
We did get revenge. We had brought our new puppy there, and he was kind enough to bring the puppy there. So the puppy was in this little octagon structure in their living room for most of the time, but we would let the puppy out, and Kevin was doing really good. Kevin is the name of the puppy. So Kevin was zipping around, doing everything. He wasn't having any accidents. We thought everything was fine. And so at the very end of the trip, apparently Kevin had very stealthily pooped about 12 times right underneath their Christmas tree on their Christmas tree skirt, and they had left presents on there, so he pooped on the presents, and these little teeny pooped. And it was hilarious because you could just tell Z was trying not to freak out, Dan was trying to freak out, but you could just tell inside he was freaking out. Oh my God, there was all this, and then of course he threw the Christmas tree skirt out. He couldn't even keep it.
Of course,
going into the trash, But so I got revenge. I'm glad that it happened. Glad it happened. I wouldn't change anything.
How did you get the name Kevin, for God's sakes?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Gretchen, my wife, named him. So, yeah, she named him Kevin. So it fits him. Yep.
Yep. Good.
We got some revenge on Z.
Good. Excellent. I was at the gym this morning doing the MJ's mobility class, and she shifts it. This morning it was yoga based, which is like once a month or so. Yeah. But the interesting thing was, after I got out of the class, I'm in the locker room, I'm leaving, and Greg, he's recently retired. He's not real. I bet you maybe 60s, and in real good shape. And he said, "Oh, you're just finished up today. I just had the mobility class." I said, "I've heard good things." He said, "I spend more time each week on mobility than I am on strength training."
Yeah.
And it just makes a lot of sense. It sounds dull. It's not dull though if you do it. Yeah. And a lot of people do it.
It's exactly right. Usually as you age, when you're younger, you're much less likely to have a mobility problem. But when you talk about the term mobility is really two different things. It's the ability to move your limb through an entire range of motion, and have strength within that range of motion. So it's a combination of two different things. You have to have the flexibility to get the range, but you also have the strength and motor control to go through the range as well. So it's like this combination. And as we age, we start to lose the flexibility because of muscle tissue shortening and things tightening and hardening, discs,
Right.
Desiccating, like all those awful things that happen. But yeah, it's funny how that shifts where it's like, I didn't do anything in that department. And then now with like he's saying, he's doing more time on that than he is on the strength training. And
Right.
that's hard because he's mobilizing himself so he can still strength train or work through range of motion with a little bit of the load.
Yeah. And we're lucky to be living in this era because my dad was always active, but nobody ever thought of mobility, and now I feel like I'm on it, but I'm like, God, I'm 30 years behind on it. So our kids, if they're smart enough to pay attention and start doing this early, it can really help them, just as, the increase of activity that has helped me more than helped my dad.
Yeah.
This should continue on. I mean, it should be a great thing for them as they age if they're smart about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the message. You just keep trying to get more people doing it, and that's the only issue right now is that 75% of our country doesn't exercise or do anything. So like we got 25% that are making an effort trying, but we really got to get those 75% up and doing something as well, to help them. So that's. But within the 25%, I think there's better knowledge as far as how to keep yourself in good working order for as long as you can. And there's no better example of that than Jack LaLanne. He was quite the the showman in his 70s and 80s. Doing all that stuff where he really proved that even as in your later years of life, you could really do some fantastic things physically.
Yeah, Don, have you ever heard of Don Wildman? He recently passed away. I think he was in his mid 80s or late 80s. I read a profile on him in Esquire when he was 75. They said, this is what this guy does at 75. And he led these incredible workouts, but a lot of flexibility as well. He started Vic Tanny. Vic Tanny bought him out, it started that. So he was able to retire really early, but he didn't retire. I mean, he went hill skiing and surfing and all that kind of stuff. So it's possible to do. It's possible to do, and you just got to keep moving. It's never too late. You can always improve no matter what.
Improve from where you're at. Yeah. And that's where, even if you do have injuries or even if you are struggling with things, you just got to figure out modifications. Maybe it has to be in the water, maybe it has to be, but movement is critical for, I always think of it as one of the most important pillars of trying to keep yourself going is that daily movement. Nutrition, some people argue nutrition is more important, but I think movement and nutrition, they're both so important. Like they're both way up there.
Right. Speaking of nutrition, you finished your fast? You done with your 5? And so how did that go? You want to talk about that, or you want to save that for another day?
Maybe we'll save it for after we wrap up. So we're just wrapping up here. The group kind of started sporadically. We had quite a few people participate, so we're
great.
I'm leading kind of like I don't know if you call it guided, but we're I have about 14 people that are doing the prolonged fast this 5-day period, and that really keys into that what we talked about a couple weeks back about the chronic overconsumption of calories that most of us are experiencing. This wave of food that we constantly put in our bodies. Our bodies never have a break ever. Like most people, it's just 24/7. So prolong is a way to just shut that down and take a moment so your body can get a little equilibrium. And it's probably much more the way when ancestral man was doing his thing, a man and woman, they had periods of time where they didn't have that much to eat. So the body is really set up to have periods of feast and famine. And when we don't do that, bad things happen. Same thing as the human body is meant to have changes in temperature. When we sit in air-conditioned rooms all day, bad things happen. You need to sweat, you need to get cold. All those things are important for the human body to experience for optimal health. So anyways, the group's doing great, but we have a couple people who haven't started yet, so we're starting. It's like staggered starts. Everybody's all over the place, but when we're all done, I'll give you a synopsis.
Excellent. What about at the gym? What's going on? Do you have any contests or promos coming up? It's hard to believe today we're in double digits in January. It's hard to believe, and everybody thinks of January as this endless, dark, cold, dreary existence, but shit, it's already the 10th.
No, I mean we're buzzing along. One thing we're doing new in January is we are renovating our spin room, and we're spinning is that indoor cycling class. and it's a really easy class for people to start because most people know how to ride a bike. And Eliza Davis, our group coordinator, has done a fantastic job also renovating the Group X schedule for the spin room. So she's created a bunch of really cool spinning experiences that we're offering now, like shorter 30-minute cardio burst kind of spin classes, which that appeals to me. Like, I don't want to spin for an hour. That's way too long for me. So that's great. And then she has another one on there, spin and strength, where it's like 30 minutes of spin and then 15 minutes of strength for those that want
really?
And then there's some longer ride ones. So just some cool stuff going on in the spin room. We're going to be kind of promoting that a bunch. And then we have our speaker series coming up at Form and Fitness. We have a bunch of really good speakers coming to speak at the gym. We have Josh Liberman, the cardiologist, is coming back. We have a private chef coming to talk about anti-inflammatory meal choices. We have one of our members, she's a super nurse, and she's coming to talk about women's issues and hormones and menopause and all that good stuff. So we got a bunch of fun things coming up. There's really too much to mention, Jack.
Cool. Well, you did it. I've taken Eliza's 30-minute sprint in the morning. It's a good time. It's at 6:30 a.m. It's not real early, and it was really great. And she said interesting thing. She said that you all have found out that spinning, there aren't enough mad cyclists out there who want to go an hour or an hour and a half in a spin. There's more people who'd like to do it, but get in there, get a good sweat, get out of there.
Or wait for 30 minutes of spin and then do 30 minutes of weights on the workout floor. Like it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get Jeremiah's Wednesday is a 30-minute sprint at noon. So I've actually been going to a group exercise class myself there because it's just short and
it fits.
Good. It's good.
Very cool. Okay, great. Well, it sounds like a lot. You go like, I don't know what's going on. Then all of a sudden you go, too much going on to talk about.
There's so much going on. I can't even.
But that's why Form and Fitness is what it is.
Personal training program starting in next month. We have so many different initiatives in 2025. I am so excited about it. And one of the most exciting ones, I have gone back for some coursework at Harvard Medical School, online coursework in lifestyle medicine. So I'm going to attempt to weave some of that stuff into the foundation of our gym because I really want us to become more than just exercise. I really feel we are already, but I want it to be a place where you can come for, just really improving your lifestyle in general. So we're going to be kind of really trying to take some of the things that I'm getting out of this coursework and weaving it into the gym, the fabric of the gym to help the customers more.
Excellent. Sounds great. And if anybody has questions, they can email at info@formandfitness.com, correct?
Yep. Or just stop at any time. We're nice. We don't bite.
Well, the rest of maybe Ben's a little intimidating. No. You're the master of the Vision Quest.
That's right.
That's you. Very cool. Well, it's a good time of year to get charged up about the year because the warm weather is coming, believe it or not, and you'll want to be ready for it when it comes. So
get in great shape.
Yep. Get with it. All right. What's your prediction for the Packers this Sunday at Philadelphia?
I think they're going to win. Yeah, I mean, the Packers can beat any team in the league at any given day. Like, if they come in, they're ready to play, and Jordan Love's back from the injury, I hope.
They stay here.
Good. I think they're going to win.
They're more balanced than they have been with the running game, which is good.
Yeah.
And I think that they, in general, put too much pressure on themselves when they're at home. I get this feeling like they kind of tense up a little bit. On the road, they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of confidence in him. Jordan Love comes and he shows up and he plays well in the beginning. We're going to win that game.
And I have 4 nephews. I call them the knuckleheads. The knucklehead nephews were having a fit about the loss to the Bears, and that was a bummer. But they said, "Oh no, we're the last seed." And I said, "Let me remind you all that the last time the Packers won it all, they started as the last seed in, and they started their first road game at Philadelphia."
Wow, that's a pretty good piece of trivia.
Yeah.
Wow. With for Rodgers, or who was that one?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Clay Matthews was still playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you never know. I mean, you never know. It's whatever team gets hot, because I feel like those 5 teams at the top are all pretty equal. You got the Detroit and Kansas City, us. I wouldn't put the Vikings in that category. They're way down.
And my favorite color, unfortunately, is purple. So I can't wear that. I can't wear that on Sunday or Monday this week. They're not until Monday night.
No.
But Those damn Vikings. Okay, well, have a great weekend. Hope to be talking to you. I'll have an IPA and maybe even some wings for you, Ben, or something crazy.
We might go over to local establishments to watch this Sunday. I'll shoot you a text. So.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Ben. As always, you're all over it, and it's informative and entertaining, and you're okay. But you see my name, Jack with no sugar added? I did that for you.
Wow, I love that. Very nice.
And people would agree with that. There's no sweetness in me, that's for sure.
Very nice. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay.
Go pack. Go pack.
Go pack.
Go pack. Go.